The San Diego Prep Insiders Basketball Podcast is powered by Jersey Mike's. Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Hey, sports fans. Christian Pedersen, Aaron Berg, and Tommy Morris as we talk about the Division II boys basketball playoffs. Hope you're ready for this one because this is one of the bigger upsets that happened, or it isn't, or it is, or Christian's already won because Davian Famer's a Twitter bully. And, I don't know. Let's talk about some basketball. Montgomery, Francis Parker, that's our first game. Montgomery's the number 1 seed. They've been in the top 10 pretty much wire to wire this season. Who started on the last bracket?
You, me.
All right. I'll start. Montgomery. I like Timmy Crawford. I like the Perenata. I like the Perenata. There's several. We've had a Sammy Perenata. There's a Nico Perenata. There's a Kyle Perenata. There's
AJ Perenata.
Yeah. I like the name Perenata, and they tend to be winners. I also like the fan base that Montgomery has. They get decently loud and supportive. That plays a factor in the postseason. Parker, they proved me wrong in the first round against Sarah, but I like a team that has wire-to-wire consistency. I'm going Montgomery.
Oh, man. Okay, I know, because we have Montgomery. All right.
I'll go.
No, I'm ready to go. We've had Montgomery in the top 10 the last 5-6 weeks for our top 10 easily. But Parker's full strength, and full strength Parker's going to be really tough to beat. I think they're underseeded because of the fact that they didn't have their whole team for pretty much the whole entire year. So I think it's going to be close, but I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going to take Parker.
We're in agreement. I'm going to take Parker on this one too. Coach Ed Martin has done a great job. Honestly, I don't think they deserve this matchup. This is really kind of cruel to, have that as a quarterfinal matchup. This is a semifinal or a finals tilt. The reason why I'm giving it to Parker is because of the interior play of Matt Bender. He's good. Montgomery has done a decent job counteracting size in certain situations. I mean, beating Mount Miguel, who has 6'6", 235, CJ Jackson, that was a great win for them. But Matt Bender's far more skilled at this point in his development. And I think that inside-out scenario where you've got the ball going into Matt Bender and then out to shooters like Max Gwynn, Daryl Sledge, who, as a freshman has been a really good shooter for them, and Kimo Ferrari, I think that's tough. This is kind of reminiscent of what, to me, it's kind of reminiscent of what Mater Dei Catholic was able to do against them, where they, got the ball into Trey Anderson or got it, Beyond Riley was able to get into the teeth of the D and then, force him to scramble on defense, that's where they struggle in the half court. I think this is going to be a fun, close game, but I'm picking Parker.
Fair enough. On to our next game. The winner of Montgomery, Francis Parker, will play the winner of Otay Ranch versus Westview. I will go with Otay Ranch.
Nice.
I know that I'm going to get clobbered when Westview continues to upset people in the playoffs, but I'm ride or die on their water polo team. Don't worry. I'm giving them plenty of love as a school, yada, yada, yada. Otay Ranch, all I need to really know is that win against Canyon Crest.
That's true. No.
And then, I'm sorry, we'll start.
No, yeah, Otay, really good performance in the first round. I didn't see that coming. Westview, congrats on the win in the first round, but I'm going to go with Otay as well.
I mean, was it really a great performance? I mean, they eked out a 2-point win over a 12-seed Escondido. Now, obviously,
12-seed Escondido that everybody here gave a lot of credit to.
Yeah, because they had the home crowd, but still, it's like, okay, they got that one. I like Otay Ranch's pieces. Chris Sanek has had a great senior year. Tariq Dedman has been one of the players we haven't mentioned on the show. He's been a great compliment. I think he's even the leading scorer for Otay Ranch. I'm picking Westview, though. The reason I'm picking Westview is that this is a team in the playoffs. You've got to be able to dictate the tempo of the game from the outset. And this is a Westview team that I saw lull Foothills Christian to sleep and beat them in a neutral court game. So whereas Otay Ranch's win over Canyon Crest to start the season was impressive, Westview's win over Foothills Christian meant that much more to me in terms of what their ceiling is. I'm going with the Wolverines.
Fair enough. We head to the other side of the bracket. The Bishop School is taking on Eastlake. Guys, hold on. Before I get to this one, I got to go on here. Okay. All right, there we go. New Twitter header up. I'll put it's the Eastlake team. Spoiler alert, you can go over to my Twitter. I'm sorry, Brian and Grant and everybody. I pontificated largely about how you're a bunch of baseball players and you don't have any business beating Steel Canyon in the playoffs. Don't worry. I've learned my lesson. I will pick Eastlake.
I won't.
Oh, look, you're killing me on this matchup. This is two really good but very different teams. This is size and evenly distributed on the Eastlake side versus size and a little bit more centered around like a Christian Rose, like actual basketball stars versus multi-sport stars. But I was obviously wrong about that having any correlation about basketball results. So what the heck do I know? I'm going to shut up. I pick Eastlake.
I'm gonna pick Bishops. They have that basketball player, Moses Mooney, who's definitely just a basketball player. No, Christian Rose, great player. Bishop school. I think it will be close. I agree with you, contrasting styles, but I think Bishop's got this one.
Yeah, Bishops can win in a lot of ways. I mean, the Morse game in the first round of the playoffs.
Points,
or
allowing less points.
They can grind you out like they did in the first round against Morris. I mean, that was an ugly game, but they won by 10. They can score a lot of points, which we saw, them do against Lincoln at the Battle at the Bay. Eastlake surprised me. But then when you actually look at the matchup, you can see why that Steel Canyon matchup was favorable to them because of their brute size. Steel Canyon doesn't have a starter taller than 6'4", and their 6'4" guy, he's not exactly a force in the paint. And you've got big Grant Holman and big Brian Leonard, to bully guys around, and that's a tough matchup for a really small Steel Canyon team. This Bishops team, not so much. Lots of size in the middle with Nikyle Cross and Christian Rose. Size even on the perimeter with Colin Douglas, who's a 6'4", small forward. I mean, and then of course Moses Mooney, Merrick Thompson, Zach White. It's a quality team. Bishops gets the win.
Fair enough. The winner of that matchup will be playing is the winner of Oceanside versus Christian. Oceanside proved me wrong, beating West Hills. Christian beat Granite Hills. This one is interesting to me because Christian, for all intents and purposes, you can say that they are a team that is really looking toward next year with Jackson Larson and the younger group that they have, but they're able to get it done now. On the other side, Oceanside, you wouldn't necessarily describe them as like a standout basketball team, but they win, and they play good defense, and they have size.
The future is now for them. They're seniors.
And Donovan Leahy is another person who only a basketball player, not a basketball player. Who even cares? This D2 bracket should just be the D2 stands for second sport that we play bracket. So guys, Oceanside, Christian, I will go with Christian in a very brutal, grinded out test of whether or not Christian's young bigs can stand up to somebody who's going to go play D-line in the NFL in 5 years.
I was going to say the exact same thing. This game is very similar to the game we just talked about. You have a big physical team, and then Christian's kind of skinnier, springier team. But I think Christian's got a lot. Oceanside, if they want him in this game, they got to wear him down because Christian's roster is not very deep. So if Oceanside kind of beat him up a little bit, they got a shot. But I think Christian's going to win this game.
I think this game comes down to point guard play, and if you're going to pick,
it's you to really give actual basketball insight analysis, man. Good job. Well,
that's why you guys pay me the big bucks to be here. And if it comes down to point guard play, Nasham Carter is the best point guard in this bracket. He's
top tier in the county.
Top tier in the county, and I think that you guys have nailed it on the head. Though on the interior is going to be a bloodbath. Likely won by Oceanside because
Donovan Leahy,
and
absolutely.
Emmanuel Granderson is no slouch either. At 6'2", 220 pounds, he's built like an outside linebacker, even though he's never put on a set of pads in his life. And Drew Morgan has had a really good year for Oceanside. He's been their leading scorer, 6'5" guy who transferred from North Carolina a couple years back with his brother. But if those interior players cancel each other out, then you've got to look at that Phil Johnson versus Nasham Carter matchup, and I'm picking Nasham Carter, 99 times out of 99.
There you go. That is our Division II bracket playoffs. We will be back early next week with the semifinal matchups, or maybe we won't because if Eastlake wins again,
man, I'm gone. I'm out of here. I can't deal with their Twitter.